Good morning. It's a beautiful day. Another day on this earth. Another day to be grateful for. Another day to be alive. If you're watching this, you're doing good. You might have, and you might be blessed to have, or still have, both of your arms, both of your legs, your eyes, and if you're a man, your genitals, your dick and balls. If you've got all that, you're doing pretty good, I'd say. So today, I wanted to talk a bit about the discipline necessary to achieve your goals and why it might get lonely or boring on your way to the top. Because it is. It's going to be. You know, I've said multiple times across these videos, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and that is a fact. So when you surround yourself with the people that strive to push you to do better and are a group of different kind of individuals that you were used to before, if you're just starting out your journey, you might still have the friends that you had previously before starting your journey. And they aren't necessarily going in the same direction as you are. I've noticed that myself. Whenever I'm talking with a lot of people, I can understand that there are multiple types of people, and I don't necessarily want to surround myself with every single one of them, spend time with every single one of them. I only want to limit my time and attention to the people that I want to limit my time and attention to. That means that you don't have to cut out everybody out of your life, but if you don't want to look like or end up like any of the people you're hanging out with, then I suggest you limit the time you're spending it with them, and you spend your time with someone or something that is more valuable, that is going to push you to do better, that is having the discipline to cut out the bad people a bit more. Not necessarily, they're not even that bad. Like some people are actually pretty well intentioned, but they just don't have the drive. They just don't have the same grit, the same discipline that you want to have. And so that means that you might have to stop talking to some people. You might have to just look at the relationship for what it is and be like, okay, well, maybe I could spend a couple hours on the weekend with them, but then all the rest of my week, I need to focus on surrounding myself with people that are going to be pushing me forward. I did this when I was starting out my journey, but I did it in a bit of a way more radical way. I basically just cut out everybody extremely quickly. And for a couple months, dare I not say 1 year or 2, maybe even 3, it was pretty fucking lonely. It felt pretty lonely. Like I had to get back into the mindset of being okay with myself. And that was extremely valuable. Like I liked spending time by myself now. It's fine. Like I don't mind. Like yeah, I know what to do. I've got purpose, I've got drive, and I know what tasks I need to perform. I don't just get bored and do nothing, or get bored and start fucking around. I do limit that as much as possible, and I do my best to fill out my time with as much high productivity tasks as possible, so that way I can actually achieve my goal. Like this is the path I've chosen. There's no going back to who I was before. Like it's like when you learn something, you can't unlearn it. Like it's not a thing. You might forget it a bit, but at the end of the day, you are the sum of everything that you've done and everything that you know that has led you to this point today. And so that means that it combines both the negative and the positive. See, you might have been, I don't know, you might have been an addict to something. You might have been binge watching shorts, reels, scrolling on your phone, playing video games without end, watching movies all day, binge watching stuff, just entertaining yourself and not really doing anything. When you make the switch from that to actually having the discipline, it's not just like, you don't just do this and it's done. Like, you need to put in the hours to adapt your brain to change from that cheap dopamine you were receiving before. And that could be through the consumption of food as well. It's very similar to diets. You need to adapt your body to doing a certain thing over and over until you're so used to it that it feels normal again. Discipline is the perfect example for this. For example, you might not want to clean your house and you might be procrastinating cleaning up the house, like vacuuming the floor, cleaning the floor, mopping up everything, just organizing everything to be neat and tidy, all that sort of stuff. You might be postponing that and procrastinating. If you set yourself, this is what I did, set yourself a deadline. Set yourself a task to do on a certain day, like a checklist. That's basically what I did. Like, for instance, I remember I used to just vacuum whenever I would I would see the floor dirty and I would be like, okay, I need to vacuum. But now I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna vacuum every week. So like every week I've got a checklist, which includes like vacuuming, cutting my nails, waxing my shoes, doing my closet, just organizing all of my clothes, washing the sheets on my bed at least once a week. Like, doing that once a week is going to make a difference. Like, it is having the discipline to set some stuff in order for you to fight against entropy and chaos. Because basically, if you just leave everything as it is and you keep living your life, everything is just going to get worse and worse and worse. Because if you don't have a certain semblance of order and discipline and like maintaining things around you, everything is just going to get dirtier, everything is just going to get shittier, everything is just going to get worse. So you got to take care not only of yourself, but also the environment around you and the relationships. This is the same thing for everything, basically. It's kind of like a law of the universe that you have to respect. And so once you start your journey onto becoming the kind of person that you actually want to become, and you might set your sights pretty high. Like, I set my sights pretty high when I first started. I first wrote everything on a piece of paper, and I was like, okay, this is gonna demand and ask of me a lot of energy and time. I won't just be able to click my fingers and be done the next day. So this is gonna take like years of my life. So if I want that to be as successful as I can, I need to put in the time, the effort, and the energy to make sure that I'm not doing a shit job and I'm doing the best I can at the stage I'm at. The stage you're at right now, you have a certain amount of like knowledge, information, and skill level. And that might not be enough, and that's fine. Like, you need to go in, do some stuff, learn more, get better, get taught some lessons, and get better from those. You can't just beat yourself up because you're not good enough. That's a good thing, because you'll always strive to be better, but you can't beat yourself up so much so that you think it's a disaster and you're just gonna give up. Never fucking give up. Just keep going at it. Your skill level right now is going to be nothing compared to your skill level in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years if you keep improving day after day. This is the same thing with all different kinds of habits. It doesn't matter what it is, if it's relationships, if it's dating, if it's dieting, if it's going to the gym, if it's business. Everything is very much the same when you actually think about it at a core base principle. And so to become disciplined is simply combining doing things, respecting your word. You said you were going to do X by Y time. Let's say you want to go to the gym every day at 4 or 5 p.m. Put that on your calendar. Make it easier for yourself to respect that discipline. Make it easier for yourself to... There's a lot of things that can help you make it easier. You can put together a checklist. You can write it on a piece of paper. You can write it on a whiteboard at home. You can write it in a notepad. You can write it literally anywhere as a mental note saying, oh, we need to do this today. And then go do it. And the simple fact of doing this consistently over the past few years, over the past few months, years, yes, decades, puts you in another playing field, because consistency is the one thing that is going to dictate if you are successful or not. And discipline is going to allow you to be more consistent in the long run. This is what you need to remember, because you might be consistent, but you might not be disciplined. So you might do things at different times. You might do things at different intervals. You might forget sometimes. You might put it aside and do it later. If you always put on your schedule, like I recommend everybody to schedule out their day and actually take some time to really think about where you're going, what you're doing, all of the tasks, and you're either doing a lot of work, you're just doing in super like deep work mode, like you're just knocking out tasks, just boom, 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 or you're actively taking a step back and planning and like looking at everything and being like, okay, how can I do this better? How can I do this differently? Was this the best I could do? How can I do this in a more efficient way? All that sort of stuff. Those are the two different modes that you need to balance in order to be more consistent and more disciplined. There's a lot that goes into it. One thing that I recommend is every evening, or you can do this on the weekend if you want, use a calendar. Pick a calendar. I use Google Calendar, for instance. It's very simple. The browser I use at home on my computer is Google Chrome. So I use the Google Calendar, so that way it's completely tied into it. I know exactly what I need to do, when I need to do it. I've got blocks of time that are spaced out, and I know exactly when to do things, and I plan everything in advance, so that way I know for the next day or the next week, when do I need to do things, when have I scheduled everything, and then I just open up my calendar on my phone, and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do next? Boom, all right, cool, I'll go do that. And then what you need to do is you need to train your mind to be okay doing those hard things. You need to go do that over and over and over again, and you need to reduce the amount of cheap dopamine your system is taking in, because the less cheap dopamine you're getting, the more dopamine you're gonna get from hard work. If you're working super hard and it feels like shit, it probably means that your system, your internal system, your brain, is way too conditioned to cheap dopamine. So this is why when you start, you're gonna have a hard time if you've always been entertaining yourself like all the time. You're gonna have a hard time getting to work. So what I suggest is since the first 5 minutes every time you start work is going to be a bit shitty, what you want to do is you want to make those 5 minutes as easy as possible in your mind. So what I've been recommended by other people, and I've never really needed to do this. I think I might have done it like a couple of times when I started, but that's pretty much it, is to put a timer. Start a 5-minute timer. Start a 10-minute timer. Start a 1-hour timer. Who cares? And say, for this next 5 minutes, I'm going to do this. For this next hour, I'm going to do this. And then just respect that timer. And repeat that for like a week or two. And then you won't even need the timer anymore. Because what you'll need to do is you'll just need to start getting to work. And you like putting together a schedule, like on Google Calendar every evening, makes that even simpler, because that way you know exactly what to do, when to do it. You don't need to think about it. So yeah, I do think it is extremely valuable for everybody to schedule out their day in advance. Not that many people do this. A lot of people just cruise around and just live their life as if there is no semblance of order or scheduling or discipline at all. Like every single day, roughly the same things happen for me. I'm getting quite of a routine right now. Almost finished adapting myself to waking up at 5 a.m., which is better because it helps me get like an extra hour or so of work done, which is exactly what I was looking for. So now you don't have to do this, but waking up earlier, if you have a job, for instance, and you have to go to work at like 9 or 10 a.m., maybe even 8 a.m., and you say like, okay, well, when I get back from work, I'm tired. What you should be doing is either finding a way to not be as tired after work, or you need to wake up early and you need to work before going to work if you want to achieve your dreams. Like let's say you have a side hustle and you're working a job, or you have a business that you're running, you want to make it successful, but in the meantime you're not making any money, so you need to go work a job. So I recommend waking up early. I was recommended a long time ago to wake up at 4 a.m. If you have work to do, if you have a job at like let's say 8 9 a.m., I recommend waking up at 4 a.m. and getting as much work done as you can during that time, like 3 or 4 hours, and probably more like 3 hours, and doing your best around that time so that way you're more productive before work. And once you're more productive, you'll be able to literally do what it is you want to do. It doesn't really matter what to do, what you're doing. The point is, you need to have a semblance of discipline in your life. So it makes everything easier if you wake up at 4 a.m. instead of being tired at the end of the day. There is a what I used to do is I used to wake up early in the morning, and then I used to go to sleep really early, because in the evening I know I'm not really productive. So I would rather use the time in the evening to go to sleep earlier so I can wake up earlier in the morning, so that way I have a higher level of energy rather than just being the same old, if you know what I mean. So I want you to take some time today and realistically think what is going to take out of you to be that kind of guy. Like, how disciplined do you want to be? How hard do you want to work? What do you want to achieve out of life? What it is that you actually want to get done. It's not that hard to just think about it for a second and then just be like, okay, this is going to demand X, Y, and Z out of me, so I need to be working on it constantly. I need to be adapting. I need to be improving my mind. I need to be developing my mindset. And yeah, like, doesn't really matter if you want to just do whatever. Like, can't stop you. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do. I'm here to give you some advice, and then it's your choice to do whatever it is you want to do with it. I just think if I can help out some of you guys kind of get on the discipline aspect of things faster, I would have loved to have that when I was younger. I would have loved not spending fucking 3 years figuring out how to become disciplined. I would have loved being able to get disciplined in a year. I would have saved 2 years of fucking around, you know? So if I can help some of you guys just figure that out, it might not click for you right now, but the simple fact that I put that idea in your head, and you're gonna think about it. Now you decide how you think about it, but if I can help some of you guys, that's literally what this channel is for. Like, I saw a few people saying like, oh yeah, but aren't you spending this time, like, is it really worth it? Shouldn't you be spending the time you record videos and you post them online and edit them and whatever? I don't even do that much editing, honestly. The time you spend doing that, wouldn't it be more worthwhile to invest that into your business? And I'm like, yeah, but I'd rather do this than not do it. Like, it's a plus. It's not a subtraction from my time and energy. It's a way for me to start the day strong and remind myself of the things I practice, I preach. It's a good energy booster. It's a good thing to help myself. It's a good thing to help others. It's a plus for society if someone watches this content. I do believe that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So, I do want you to take some time out of your day, schedule out tomorrow. Very important. If you're not using a calendar, if you're not using a schedule, you should, because it is extremely useful. It is a tool like most tools that you can find today. We have the tool of time. We have the tool of like understanding when we can do things from what time to what time. So you should use that to your advantage. You should use every single resource you have at your disposal to your advantage to push yourself to do better faster. These things are helpful to help you use and spend your time more efficiently. And if you're not spending your time efficiently, you're just going to end up like the people who don't do that. And you know what that is. You know, I don't need to tell you. Like, you know what kind of lifestyle those people live. So, don't let yourself get distracted as easily. Make sure you have a schedule. Make sure you have a purpose that you're working on every single day. Even if it's like if you've never used a schedule before, just block out 4 or 5 hours. Even you can even start with 1 or 2 hours. Just block out that time and just do that every single day. And then you'll be like, 2 hours wasn't enough. So you'll up it to 3, 4, 5, 6, however many hours you want to invest. Just do that. I personally get to the point where I'm working from sun up to sundown. Most of the time, I might have a small hour break for like eating food or taking a shower, or maybe just watching this one video that I really wanted to watch at the end of the day. Sure, I can reward myself with that once I've done all of my tasks, but otherwise I do my best to use my time as early in the day as possible, as efficiently as possible. That's what I'm talking about here. And yes, it's going to be boring. Yes, it's going to be lonely. Yes, it's going to be all of these shitty things. But the more you adapt to it, the more your mind is going to feel okay. Dudes are much more easier to be alone. Like most of us are fine being alone because we're more willing to sacrifice our own happiness for the benefit of our family rather than sacrificing our family for the benefit of our happiness. I've noticed this quote recently, which is the biggest difference between men and women. Most women would prefer being happy but sacrifice their family rather than, and this is not all people, I'm talking about the like general most people on average. So yes, dudes are more okay being alone, and it is going to feel like shit, but if you want what you want, it's going to take a lot of hard work, it's going to take a lot of energy, it's going to take a lot of time, and you have to accept that. You have to, like, when I started, I remember I was like, bro, this is so fucking annoying, and I was just like maybe like doing like 1-2 hours of work here, then going back to playing video games, 1-2 hours of work playing video game, 1-2 hour work video game. That's kind of what I was doing. And then at a certain point it got to where I was like, okay, actually I don't really feel like playing video games all by myself anymore. Like, it's fucking boring. So I'll just do work instead. Because if both of the things are boring, I would rather do the thing that gets me moving along better and further and faster rather than entertaining myself. Because endless entertainment is always going to be available. Like, it's not going anywhere. So, but the work and the time is something that is limited. There is something, you might miss an opportunity if you don't work hard or fast enough. You might not be presented with more money in the future. You might not be presented with opportunity to better yourself. I don't fucking know. It really depends, like, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, career, job, business, whatever wise, money wise, financially. Pick something and go get it. You can do it. You can do whatever you want to do, but you cannot do everything. So you need to choose wisely. And it doesn't matter what other people think of you. You might say, oh, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're spending all that time working. That's not healthy for you. What the fuck would you know? Why the fuck would I listen to you? Why would I listen to you when I don't want my life to look like yours? Right? Doesn't that make a lot of sense? If a fat person that has no work ethic, no discipline, and can't even control the food he puts in his mouth tells you, oh, you shouldn't work that hard, bro, are you going to take his advice seriously? Do you want to look like him? Do you want your life to be like his? I don't think so. So, yes, schedule out your day. At the end of the day, schedule out a few time blocks. It doesn't have to be like full on like me. It can just be a couple hours here, a couple hours there, going to the gym from this time to this time, eating from this time to this time, sleeping from this time to this time. And then the more you go into this, the more you're gonna understand how to optimize your time, and then it's all up to you. You get to choose. So there's that. Then there's, you need to accept that it's going to be lonely, it's going to be boring. That is fucking, it is what it is. But the harder the work, the better the reward. So always remember, when you're doing hard work, your brain is going to be like, this feels like shit. But when it gets a reward, extreme amount of dopamine gets released. You're like, fuck, this is amazing. I want to do that again. And then you just keep chasing down winning and hard work, because it is extremely fulfilling. Way more than cheap dopamine can ever fucking do. So think about that for a second. And then don't cut out all of your relationships all at once like I did. I would not recommend it. It's not for the faint of heart. But if you're willing to go through it, I heavily recommend reducing the amount of time that you spend with the people you don't want your life to look like, and spending more time with the people that matter and that have a life that looks like the one you want. So with that out of the way, appreciate you, all of you guys watching until the end of the video. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Happy to answer some questions, give some advice, and have a chat in the comments. And otherwise, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.